page is one where I have quite a bit of journaling that I want to preserve, but I want to keep it concealed. This is information that I'd like to have for my reference and my memories, but I don't want it to be visible every time somebody flips through an album. Every year, at the end of the year, I do sort of a wrap-up page to look at what I plan to do in the previous year and what I have planning for the coming year. So I've typed all those things up, and I'm going to use this sketch that I've created where I will have pockets to conceal the journaling. My photos are ones that I've printed in black and white. These are just a variety of different photos from throughout the year that are sort of representative of some of the things that are in the journaling. I've already typed up all of the journaling, and I put tabs on it. No other special fancy details because it's going to be hidden down in the pockets. This is a page very much about me, so I selected papers that really fit my personality. Green is my favorite color, so I just went to my green drawer where I have some extra papers, things left from collections that have been well used, and pulled out several green papers, one full sheet and some partial sheets to create my pockets. For the butterflies, I've decided that I want to do those in rose and coral colors, and I selected several different colors of cardstock rather than designer paper because I think I'm going to stamp these and give them some interest with some background stamps. Flourishes always seem to end up on my butterflies, and I've got a variety of different ink colors here as well as some mists to work with. So I have my supplies and I'm ready to get started on my page. Because I'm going to be sewing down all of my layers, anything that I want to do to layers like misting or stitching, I have to do before I adhere them. And the title I'm going to be using is Taking Care. That's going to be on this very bottom layer. And the way I'd like to do my title is to adhere these large letter stickers and then mist over them for a tone-on-tone kind of effect. And I did a test with a sticker, and I really liked the results. So I need to adhere these just kind of gently to the paper, and I'll eventually paint this 2012, these chipboard numbers. Okay. So I know I'm going to have a stitch line at about 4 inches over. And I want them fairly close to that because I'm going to have a butterfly over here. Because I'm misting them, and so I'm interested in the negative space, I don't want the letters too close together, probably a little bit further apart than I might put them if I were just using regular stickers. Okay, I've misted. Mop up that excess so I don't get it all over the fingers and the page. And I can pull off my letters. You want to do this with a letter sticker that comes off fairly easily. It needs to be just the right amount of adhering and just the right amount of coming off. There's one that's going to be difficult. There it goes. One corner doesn't work well, start from another corner. Okay. I probably could save this, but I don't think that it's really necessary. Alright, and I will add the taking and the 2012 after this has dried good. In the meantime, I can work on my pockets. I want a little border at the top of the pocket, and let me show you how I did this one because I need to do the rest of them. I'm using my Martha Stewart scoreboard and some soft suede cardstock from Stampin' Up. If you do this with a brown or a gray, it really almost looks like leather. What I'm going to do is score this 12 by 12 or 12 inch long piece at 1/4 inch over. And then I'm going to cut it at 1/2 inch over. And so now I'm just folding like I may have cut slightly more than a ½ inch, which is okay, because one side of this is going to be to the back. Alright, now what I'll do to get that almost that leathery look is I want to rough up this edge. I got this little tool from Stampin' Up. I've seen these though at the craft stores like A.C. Moore or Michael's, or you can use the edge of scissors if you're careful. Now I'll take this and put it over the edge of my paper and just take that to the sewing machine and sew it. This is not, of course, a step that you have to do, but if you sew, this adds a nice finishing touch to the page. You could take a border like a border punch, like a scallop border punch, and add a little scallop edge or postage stamp edge or something like that if you wanted to. Alright, to create my pockets, I have all of my different pattern papers trimmed and laid out, and I'm going to sew a line, vertical line down through them to establish the pockets, and then I'll put some stitching along the edge too, and along the bottom edge to hold everything. To get this to the sewing machine though, I need to add some really good adhesive so that nothing shifts, because I want these lines to stay nice and straight. And in some cases on the paper, it doesn't quite go all the way to the bottom. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but that's okay, because when I slide the paper in there, it's not going to matter that the background didn't go all the way to the bottom, but I just didn't have quite enough paper. So I need to hold everything down really good so it doesn't slide, because I can't just go to the sewing machine and tap it all down to the bottom. It doesn't quite go that way. I'm using glue dots, the large glue dots, to hold on one side, and I'm going to use paper clips on the other. This is the side where I won't actually be sliding anything into the pocket, so I can use the glue dots to hold things. Now, if you don't sew and you still want to create pockets, what I typically do if I'm not going to stitch pockets is I use a really good double-sided tape. And the one I use is from Creative Memories. This is called Photo Tape, and my old roll here is just about out. It's a great sticky tape, wonderful sticky tape. There are other brands, but that's the one that I use. So if I wasn't sewing this, I would use a tape from here down on each of the layers to hold the pockets in place, and then on the edges, and I might cover that maybe with some twine or ribbon or something to kind of create that mark between the area that's just going to be embellished and the area that's going to have the actual things in the pocket. So I'm going to continue adding some glue, and I'm going to slide paper clips on this edge, and then I'll be ready to take this to the sewing machine. Okay, I have my sides attached and my stitching line going down here at 4 inches over so that I can put everything in the pockets. One word about the sewing. Make sure you know what your machine will handle. I sew a lot, so I know kind of how much I can put through my machine. But be very careful and make sure you're comfortable with how much materials you're putting through your machine. You don't have to sew all of this. You can sew just through here like you did up here. You can sew down here and then cover this glue on this final layer, or you can glue all of it. You can glue the layers down and then glue some paper over the top, or add some washi tape. There's lots of ways to create pockets without doing sewing. So if you don't have a machine, or if you don't think your machine can handle so many layers, then you don't have to do it that way. There's lots of alternatives. But this is just one approach to it. And one other thing that I did to make sewing these edges on a little bit easier, since there were so many layers to go through, I cut this strip a little bit wider. So this is 3/8 of an inch instead of 1/4 of an inch across here, and there's a little bit more on the back. So it's a little bit easier to handle at the machine. Alright, let's do some butterflies and embellish and finish up our page. I've cut a variety of sizes of butterflies with the Cricut. I want to have several to choose from, and whatever I don't use I will probably put on a card. I'm just going to be using some background stamps and distress inks to give these a little bit more interest. I'm using butterflies because butterflies are the symbol of life and change, and that's a lot of what this year's been about. I like my embellishments to be sort of representative of the page in some way. Add a little bit of distressing and maybe a little misting, and these will be ready to go on the page. Okay, I have everything positioned but not glued down. I have one butterfly glued down, this largest one, and I'm not going to have many butterflies left because I've decided to add a second layer to most of them. So what I've done for my second layer is I've put glue dots in the middle and then dimensional adhesive out on the wings. And then I'll position this so that it lays flat in the middle, and then there's a little bit of dimension on those wings. And I'll be doing that for some of the other layers as well. And the last thing I think I'm going to do is add some twine over this stitching. I decided I really wasn't that crazy about the stitching, so I think I'm going to wrap some twine around there and see how that looks. Anyway, in just a moment you'll see the completed page. Thank you for joining me today, and be sure and check out my blog for the sketch and other information in the PDF file.